Hi, this is Tranisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about consistency. So it's so funny because yesterday I felt in my spirit that I really needed to relay a message about about knowledge and about faith and just making sure that you're applying and implementing it in your life. And for some reason, ever since I've gotten that message, I just keep seeing consistency everywhere. Every time I go on a page, every time I think about something or I talk to someone or have a conversation with someone, I think about the things that I would want in a person and it's consistency. And I keep I keep seeing and consistency just keeps replaying in my mind over and over again. And I know not everyone who's faithful will think that that means anything, but to me it means everything. Whenever God speaks to me through scripture or whatever else, and I'm not saying it like I'm prophesying or anything like that, because we all know that in the scripture it says that if you are a pro are you if you are prophesying or if you're from a prophecy, it's worse if you're prophesying and you keep it to yourself than for you to just speak regularly, like without tongue, or just speak to the people in a way that is speaking life into them, in a way that is spreading knowledge or something like that. So for me, when I say things like that, I say it just for my own understanding. And usually, like, here's a little secret that I didn't really like divulge in several past videos, but when you hear me say like women we have to, or you hear me say something that kind of speaks to one type of person, or it's sometimes it's just a general statement. But most of the time when I do these videos, it's to keep me in check. It's so that I don't get too big headed. It's so that I can remember where I started. It's so that I can take, I can acknowledge my flaws and take responsibility for my actions. And so when I do this, it's not because I'm trying to tell people what to do or anything like that. I'm really just trying to share knowledge. Anything that I learn, I'm trying to show other people or tell other people about it so that maybe that it can help them in their life. Maybe they're struggling in an area and what I'm saying will be able to help them in some sort of way. So if you ever feel a certain type of way about a video, just know that it's never my intention to just try to verbally attack someone or to make someone feel a certain type of way. I mean, of course, I want people to feel something in their spirit so that they can move forward and do better. Like, of course, I want that. I want people to seek God when they're feeling weak, to instead of seeking like a substance or a person, because they'll never be able to fill the God-sized hole. Of course, I want things like that. When it comes to faith and religion and things like that, of course, my desire is just to be the best Christian that I can be. I'm not trying to tell people how to live. I'm just trying to be helpful. I'm trying to be used as a vessel, like in whatever way that God intends for me to. And so it's never my intention to be selfish in these videos or to use it as a way to just like vent or something like that. And sometimes I do go through things in my life and it'll end up in the message, not in a way where I'm like attacking someone, but it'll be like, the message has something to do with that, and it's because of that situation that I've learned from it. It's never I never mean it as a way to just like try to go after someone or make someone feel a certain type of way, or make them feel guilty, or just like as if I harbor resentment toward them. I don't harbor resentment towards anyone, honestly. People are who they are, and like I always say, they do and get away with things that they wanted, that you allow them to do and get away with. And I know like it's all shiny. I don't know what happened, but this is so funny. It's not funny. Like, I have to laugh about it. And it's funny in that way. And so the day that I did the video and I said, I get, breakouts or pimples or whatever else, but usually as soon as I see it, I put like some kind of treatment or something on it, and then it's not there anymore. Ever since I have made that video, I have been breaking out every single day. I don't know if it's the weather. I don't know what is going on, but my skin is going crazy right now. And it's like, I just said it. And then because I appreciated my skin being like flawless, and not flawless because I do have like old blemishes and things like that. And you might not be able to see it on the camera, but I do have like little spots here and there that are just there from like previous acne scars or whatever else. And it's it's not really that noticeable. So most people don't even notice that it's there until I'm like, oh, it's right here, like something like that. So it's not like it's something that really truly stands out that much. It's just one of those things. But I have been breaking out like crazy. Like you see this light spot right here. So I ended up getting another pimple last night and I put the stuff on it and it's gone, but the place that I put the stuff at is now like super shiny, which is weird. I don't know what's happening with my skin, but it's just going crazy. And then I've had like two pimples here, which you probably can't see it when I'm turned this way because it's on the side, but it's like they have been there for the past like 4 or 5 days, and usually they're gone in a day. So it's so weird to me. And then, of course, like every day I've had one here and here and here, and then had one here, and then today or last night I had one here, and then these two from like 5 days ago. And it's just like my skin is just going insane. Like, I don't know what's happening, but maybe it's just like one of those things like, oh, you thought you were strong in this area. Let me go ahead and test you, or let me make sure that you don't end up idolizing your skin. Maybe it's one of those things. I don't know. And I don't. So, I mean, of course, I appreciate having clear skin and things like that, but I don't ever want to put anything before God. So, whatever God has to do to humble me, I'm appreciative of it because I don't ever want to be so big headed or so egotistical or arrogant that I can't learn something. I think that we always have to be in a position, no matter how old we are, no matter how much knowledge we know or we obtain, we always have to be willing to learn more, to do more, to grow, to just be able to let God use us. And sometimes it could feel as if like the storm's just never ending and or it's always some kind of trial or tribulation. As soon as you catch your breath, you're going through another trial or tribulation or storm or whatever else. And it's so funny because earlier today I was listening to the sermon before I went to church and I dialed in because, I just it's a whole thing. I don't want to speak it because I don't want to make it, it is so or whatever else. Like I want to make sure that I'm not speaking anything over what's going on in this situation right now. And I'm praying for healing. And so I just I was thinking about the storms and stuff and this pastor was talking about it's it's nowhere to go from here or it's going up from here or something is the name of the sermon. And it was by Pastor Darius Samuels, I think. I know I probably said that wrong, but he just talked about like sometimes when you're faithful, sometimes when you're doing the right thing, and you know that God is faithful and He's a God that He doesn't lie, and you know that He's promised you certain things in your life, and you're just like, I have so much faith, God, I really do believe in you, and it just feels like you get to a point in your life where you just feel like, okay, God, you promised me this, but you're waiting for something else. Like you're waiting for the next thing. And it's not that you're not faithful or you don't believe in God. It's just like, okay, God, I don't know when this is going to happen, but it's like one of those things like you're completely blessed. You are so grateful for everything that you have and it's just something that makes you feel like there's something more. Like there's something more that's coming. There's something more that's next. And he said that when you feel that way, that's because God's not through yet. That's because this is only the beginning of the blessings. This is because that job, that friendship, that relationship, whatever it is in your life that you seek to have or that God wants for you, his preference for your life, his standard for your life. And I say preference because what God prefers for you is always the best. His standard for you is just you doing your best. And so when he was talking about wanting more. He said that sometimes that unsettling feeling that you get, or not unsettling, but that feeling for more, wanting more, is God telling you that there is more. It's God telling you that He's not through yet. It's God telling you that you no longer have to settle for the bare minimum. It's God telling you that your standards are relevant. It's God telling you that yeah, you see this good person or this good job or whatever else it is that you think that you want in your life, but he has better for you. It's more that he wants to give you. He doesn't want you to be 30, 40, 50 years old still settling for the same old thing. He wants you to have more than that. And that longing that you have for more is God telling you that you deserve more. You deserve better than that. And even though it may seem like it's good enough, it might not be what God intended for you, that you actually need. It'll be what you want. And so I always say what you want instead of what you need, because for me, I always feel like I need certain things in my life, or I want certain things in my life. I want to have this type of thing. I want to have this type of job. I want to have this type of car. I want to have this type of relationship, whatever else, this type of friendship. But what I might need, and a friend might not be a yes person. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want a yes person at all. I'm just using an example. I might want a yes person, but I might not need a yes person. A yes person may destroy me because they're going to keep me comfortable. And in order for me to grow and learn and be everything God intended me to be, I'm going to have to be uncomfortable. I can't just sit back and relax and put my feet up and then just act as if God's just going to bless me because I'm Christian. I have to put forth work because faith without works is dead. I have to do everything that I need to do to sow a harvest, to reap a harvest. I can't just sit here and then act as if I just deserve these things without putting forth any effort to grow, without putting forth any effort to get rid of those toxic traits that I had, or those negative things that I used to do, or that cynicism that lingers over me. I have to be willing and able to allow God to make me uncomfortable so that He can shake those things, break those things off of me. And sometimes it's easy to say that, and you're thinking, yeah, I totally want to be uncomfortable until you're uncomfortable. Then it's like, can I just, do I really have to be uncomfortable like this? Is this really what you want from me, God? And God's like, yes, I intended for you to be uncomfortable because this is not where you're living. This is not where I need you to be. I need you to be in another area. I need you to be willing to be more dedicated to your life. I need you to have more consistency in your life. And you might think, well, I have a schedule, I'm being consistent. No, God may say, I told you to do YouTube. You need to finish and polish things so that it is representing the kingdom. You need to take those things that are holding you back, like your impatience, those negative connotation, that cynicism needs to break off of you, because when you start reaching more people, when I start putting you out there, you're going to need to be in a position where you are growing enough, where you have grown enough to be able to reach the people that I need you to reach. You're not going to be able to be in a position where you are just all over the place and saying that you seek something that I haven't presented to you yet. You need to be in a place where, yes, you may desire certain things in your life. You may want certain things in your life, but the only thing that you will settle for is something that I intended for you to have in your life, what I know that you need in your life. The friend that you need is going to be somebody that's going to tell you like it is, in a loving way, not a yes person. The job that you need is going to be a job that's going to allow you to go to church and do Bible study on Wednesday nights. It is not going to be the job that's going to make you work late so every Wednesday you miss Bible study, or every Sunday you're working. So instead of you focusing on God and dedicating this day to me, you're focused on a job when I can give you plenty more. That's not what God intends for you. That relationship that you want to settle for because someone's nice doesn't mean that they're going to be nice for you. Doesn't mean they're going to be good for you. Just because they might be a good person doesn't mean they're good for you. Just because they may seem understanding doesn't mean they will be the type of understanding that you will need. You might They might be understanding in a way that they know that you're going to be this way or you're going to do this thing, but they might not be understanding in a way where you will be able to become vulnerable, because they will have built becoming more consistent. They will have built communication. They will have done all of these things that will make you feel comfortable. And it's not just about you, which I've been learning a lot lately. God is like telling me through other people and different things, like it's not just about you. The You might need to work on yourself and do different things, but it's not just about you. Like, if you are really going to become a partner eventually, I'm going to need you to not be selfish, because you will need to do a little dying to yourself every day when you get into a relationship like that. And are you willing to do that right now? And if I'm being honest, I don't know if I would be willing to do that. I don't know. I feel like I could, but I also don't know if I could do that, because sometimes the things that I think that I need aren't things that I need, they're things that I want. Like I might want someone to talk to me often, but maybe what I would need is to be independent so I can become interdependent and so that I don't end up relying on a person before I rely on God. Something like that. And so for me, it's so important for me. Like I meet so many amazing people. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not ridiculous, it's amazing. And so I will meet them and they teach me so many things about myself that I didn't even know was an error or didn't even know that was an issue or didn't even know that was a certain way. Like there's certain toxic traits that I had within myself that I didn't even know that I had. And I feel like I can be transparent and say that because some people won't even admit or acknowledge the fact that they need to work on things within themselves. They just make it seem as if they're perfect, like they have nothing left to do, like they know everything. And I don't ever want to be that person that pretends as if I know everything. I don't know. I barely know anything. Let's be real. Because I might gain a lot of knowledge from books. I might be reading my Bible and listening to God and things like that, but I will never know anything. Never know everything. That's not something that any human can obtain. Even a genius might know a lot of knowledge. They might have a lot of information that they know. Like they can know history and math and all of these different things. You can ask them something, they know questions about that. And then when it comes to behavior, they know nothing. They are awkward in situations. They don't know how to be in a relationship. They can't meet people because they're so awkward and just like whatever else. No one is everything. Only God is everything. So no matter if you're the smartest person in the world or the most emotionally intelligent person in the world, you still don't know everything. And so I think it's important for us to acknowledge that we're going to always have to learn in some area or improve in some area of our lives. And even areas that we didn't even know. Like, I'm so thankful that God has allowed me to see areas of my life that I need to work on, that I need to grow in, that I thought, okay, this is good. I'm fine in this place, but it's not good. It's not enough. It is just the bare minimum. And it's so funny because God gave me this revelation while I was watching and looking at all these consistency things. And He was asking me, He was saying something like, you want someone that's going to be consistent, but would you be willing to be consistent for that person? And I was like, whew, okay. I see what you did there. Okay. All right, God, you got me there. You got me there. Okay. I understand. And it's so true. I want somebody who's going to communicate with me and do all of these things, being consistent and showing that they really do appreciate me, but am I willing to appreciate someone else in the right way? Like after all of the things that I went through in my life, sometimes it's hard to be vulnerable and how can I be consistent and show someone, that that I have hope or I have faith or that I'm being loving if I'm being guarded. That's not being loving. That's a part of the adversary's plan. It really is. Because you closing off yourself to any person who could truly love you is not good. It's inconsistent. It's it's not godly behavior. It isn't. And I would like to believe like I'm this perfect person that just makes no mistakes, but I make mistakes every day. Let's just not pretend as if I don't do that. And so I am always trying to improve to be a better person because I know that there will always be something that I need to improve upon and I can pretend as if I just don't make mistakes. Oh no, you know me, I just always say the right thing. I always have standards. I always am vulnerable or willing to be open to someone or to truly love them in the right way or be loving towards them because I don't just fall in love on the first day. Okay, in Jesus name. Because every time I say something it's like it just happens and I'm like I don't want to do that. I want to take my time and really be patiently doing things. I want to slowly go and grow into the things that God wants me to have into my life. I don't want to just wake up one day and just make a snap decision without discernment. I want to make sure that I'm doing the best that I could possibly do. And when now that I know that I need to be consistent as well if I want someone to be consistent, I mean, I knew that I had to be a nice person leading with love and kindness. And I try to do that. And I also can feel myself pull away from people when they are trying to get to know me, when they really are trying to be intentional, when they really do want to know more about me. And sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it. Like it could be a perfectly good person and they could really be trying to get to know me, and I'll kind of push back, and so they'll pull back because they're like, well, maybe she just doesn't like me like that, or maybe she's just not interested, or something else. And I might say something completely wrong because I know it'll push the person away. And I didn't even realize I did it when I did it, but I do that often. And I'm really trying to be, my stomach is growling. I should have ate before I did this video. But I really do need to be better at being open to the idea of letting people get to know me. And I'm not saying I got to be like an open book and they just have to know all of my deep, dark secrets and everything else. Like, nothing like that. But in order for someone to really, truly feel like they can, like they should pursue me, they're not going to be able to pursue me if I'm holding back, if I am just guarded, if I'm, I am no longer pushing people away or being invulnerable. I'm no longer being the type of woman who puts up a guard or says something to push someone away. I'm no longer going to be the type of woman who, when I feel someone get close, say something because I know that it will be the type of thing that will make someone flee from my life. Like, I'm no longer going to be the type of woman who has this protective barrier around the guard on my heart. I am going to be the type of woman who is consistent throughout my life, throughout when it comes to friends, family, work, or a potential person. I will be as consistent as I want the person to be. I will be open. I'm going to be open to the idea of allowing someone to get to know me. I'm going to be the type of woman who won't just say something to push someone away because I know that most people will be scared if you say this type of thing. I'm no longer going to be the type of person who, when I feel myself getting closer, just throw up the friend card because I don't want to be vulnerable with anyone. And I'm not saying like being friends is a bad thing, but sometimes I will get into a situation or I will be getting to know someone and I'm like, oh yeah, we're just friends. And I'm just like stopping it before there's even a chance for anything else to happen. And it's not that I was doing it. I didn't think I was doing it intentionally. Like, even when I'm trying not to push people away, I would still be doing things to push people away. And it might even be something as simple as asking for something ridiculous, like as soon as I get to know someone, just because I know that no one would do it. And so I'm like, well, let me hurry up and get this person out of my life so that they can't get close enough to me. And it's so crazy. Like, saying it out loud sounds so ridiculous, especially since I have faith and hope. Like, how can I have faith and hope but not think that God would be there with me, protecting me? How could I have faith and hope and not allow myself to, or not allow anyone to get to know me? How could I be so guarded knowing that in order for God to continue to use me and for me to grow, I'm going to have to let certain people in, because even if it's not in that way, whatever reason it is that they're in my life could be helpful for my purpose. And it's just, oof. I mean, God said a whole lot when He said that. When He asked me certain questions, and it really makes me look within and really focus on trying to become a better person, and really acknowledging my flaws and understanding and taking responsibility for my actions and knowing that these are things that I need to do. It's not something that a potential person could do that would make me do anything. It's something that I have to really be intentional about developing in my life. I have to really be intentional about knowing that not everyone is just coming into my life to hurt me. Like, not everyone is just, I know, every video, I'm like trying not to do this. It's just so crazy. Every time I feel like, okay, I'm healed and I'm completely ready for everything, and I don't understand why I have to wait for anything. And then God's like, you still have to get through this. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. Because I definitely have things that I'm going to have to grow through. And I say grow through because whenever we're going through a storm or rain, which rain in the Bible is something that stands for, I'm trying to remember, burden. Rain is symbolizes the burden in the Bible. So in biblical times and in theology, whenever you see that there's a storm or there's rain, it's some sort of burden that's over your life or that's on you that you have to release. And so for me, I really have to be able to withstand the burden and allow God to use that to develop me, to transform me into something better, to grow me into the person that he always intended for me to become. And so I think it's important for us to really acknowledge what it is that we need to do. Like it's easy to say, I want this person to do this, this, and this. I need this person to be this, this, and this. But are you that? Are you consistent when it comes to your life? Are you a good communicator? Are you the type of person who would be reciprocal? Would you have reciprocity within your life in all of your relationships, work, family, friends, potential people? Like, are you willing to do that? And if the answer is no, then you have work to do. You've always got work to do, but you got work to do. And so, in conclusion, in conclusion, when it comes to consistency, it's not just all about relationships. Like, it's not just all about romantic relationships. Consistency has to do with you and your life, with your passion, with your purpose, with everything that it is that God's gifted you to do, or whatever else. It's you being intentional. It's you being consistent in areas like when I'm doing these videos, making sure they're uploaded when they're supposed to be uploaded, making sure that I'm making things look polished and I'm putting forth an effort and I'm actually being intentional with the things that God is calling me to do. Like if I need to speak life into someone, if I need to serve, if God's telling me to give, I need to give my time, I need to give money, I need to do whatever it is that I need to do on a consistent basis, not just when I feel like it. I have to do it even when I'm uncomfortable doing it. Even when it doesn't make any sense. I still need to be consistent, especially if that's something that I'm looking for within my friend group, within work, within a potential person or a partner in general. I really need to be consistent in my life before someone else can come into my life and be consistent for me. Because I think it's so funny how sometimes we can seek something from someone else. We'll seek love when we don't love ourselves. We'll seek consistency when we're inconsistent in our life when it comes to dieting or exercising or whatever else, or eating healthy. I don't want to say dieting because I don't really like that word. I just like to say like really being intentional with the type of foods that you're eating in a healthy way. And so even when it comes to things like that, we're thinking, oh, we want someone else to be consistent, but we're not being consistent in that area. We want someone to be loving when we don't love ourselves, when we really truly don't show love in the right way, the godly love that we should be showing, that agape love that God gives us. We really are just like wanting all of these things that we're not even doing for ourselves. And God is saying it's time to be more consistent, that we need to really be intentional with our lives, especially at this time, especially with the way that things are going, the way that things are. There's so many people that are doubtful. There's so many people that are lost, confused, that just don't know what direction to go. There's so much women against women. There's so much men against women. And we just have to try to keep each other down or talk down on each other or try to stop people from progressing in life. And really, we need to be working together. Really, we need to be allowing these men to follow God and lead so that we could have stronger households, so that we could be we can be working together, so that we could be a team, so that we could really have people in our life who are a team and not just someone that allows us to be codependent or someone who we could be complacent with. Like, I don't want to say complacent. I guess I want to say someone who just is a placeholder in our life, that because we have company, we feel like we're secure. And really, God is telling you, you need a team. You need a team of people who will be weak, who will be strong when you're weak. You need a team of people who will be willing to tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it from a loving place. We need a team of people who are willing to speak life into each other and not just tear each other down, or be honest with each other in a loving way. We don't need people who are constantly at war with one another. We don't need to have this type of false sense of a love when it's really toxicity. We really need to do better. And it begins with us. We're the ones that are going to have to step into intentionality. We're the ones that's going to have to step into our purpose to really focus on leading with love and kindness, and to be the type of person that God intended us to be, and not the person that we want to be, or do the things that we want and just get lazy and be comfortable in a situation that God never intended us to stay in. We really have to continue to push forward and be real with ourselves. It's easy to lie to yourself and say, oh, yeah, I'm consistent. I do this, this, and this. Just because you're repetitive does not mean you're consistent. Let me say that again. Just because you are repetitive does not mean you are consistent. Consistency means that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. It means that you're being intentional with your life. It means that you are working in certain areas that God has told you to work in. It's you doing things that are uncomfortable. It's you doing things that are giving glory to God. And you're doing this consistently. It's not just you doing the same thing over and over again, because we know the definition of insanity is doing something over and over again, expecting a different result. And in the words of Maya Angelou, do the best that you can until you know better. And then once you know better, you do better.